Morning class, this is Ms. Hamilton. Today we're going to be looking at what we call the sine law. And the sine law is for non-right angle triangles. So the next little bit of time in the course is going to be looking at non-right angle triangles, okay, and how to solve for those. Okay. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to spend 15 minutes on this first page, okay? So I want you to spend 15 minutes, okay, working through and seeing if you can create a problem based off the information that you come. So you're going to pause the lesson here, spend 15 minutes, and see if you can develop the sine law given these instructions. Okay, guys, welcome back. So again, some of you might have been able to work your way through and maybe develop something. Some of you might have not. The sine law is all we're saying is that the angle to a side ratio that are equal to each other, okay, is equal to the other sine, angle, and side law ratio. So this is our formula for sine law, okay, of a triangle, or, okay, we can put it in the other direction. Either or will work, okay. And you might have been able to come up with some development of this equation in the investigation, okay? So this is what we call sine law, okay? And we're going to be using these equations to work on some triangles. So again, I'm just going to zoom in. So again, what we're saying is when we look at these, we're going to look at them in sections. So if we have all the information of this, we might equal it to this or this. We really break it down into two components as we get going. So there's no better way than to show you an example. And I can't stress enough, it's about side angle relationship. So side angle relationship we're looking at. Okay, so that's really, really important about sine law. Okay, so let's move into an example. Okay, solve triangle ABC. So what they're asking us to do is to solve the entire triangle. Okay, the first thing you might notice is that, well, right away we could solve angle A. Okay, we could solve angle A because we know that 180 degrees subtract 84 degrees, subtract 59 degrees, okay, leaves us with an angle of 37 degrees. Okay, so if you want to, you could plug that in. And again, what you notice that this is a non-right angle triangle. So what we would do is we would also label our triangle. So this is the opposite side to A, this is the opposite side to B. Okay? And we look at relationships. Well, we know that we have the equivalent value of sine C and side C, and then we would choose what relationship we want to look at next. Let's choose to solve for side B. Okay, so see that those are side angle relationships. So when we set this up, we would do sine C over little c is equal to sine B over little b. And we fill in our information, and again, you should only have one unknown left in solving because that's what you're trying to solve for. Okay, so for example, sine, and the angle of C is 59, the side of C is 24, is equal to sine 84, because that's the angle of B, over little b, because that's our unknown. And so you'll see in this equation that we only have one unknown. Now in this situation, we now cross multiply. Okay, so we end up getting sine 59 times b is equal to sine 84 times 24. Okay, but again, you're trying to isolate for b, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide sine 59 to the other side. And again, some of you are going to skip some steps and do this maybe all in one step, and that's fine. Okay, I'm just showing you how we rearrange it. And now we're left solving for b equals sine 84 times 24 times sine divided by sine 59. And because we're dealing with side length, we're going to go round to one decimal place, so we get a value of 27.8 centimeters as that side length. Okay. So we've been able to solve for B. Now what we'd have to do is we'd have to solve for the other equation. Okay, we'd have to solve for side A now, okay, which I'll do in red. So again, I would use your same values that you have from the previous equation. So I would use sine C divided by C, but now is equal to sine A over A. So again, you're just picking the two, one that you have all the information of and one that you have is missing one component, okay, or one variable. So again, we set this up, sine 59 over 24 is equal to sine 37 divided by side A, which is what we're trying to find. We would cross multiply, okay, and we're left with sine 59, okay, times A is equal to sine 37 times 24. Again, you're trying to solve for A, so we're going to divide sine 59 to the other side. And we're going to cross that out. Okay, and we would just do the math to solve for this, and we actually find out that A, okay, is equal to 16.9 centimeters. So we have actually solved the entire triangle, okay, using what we call sine law. Okay, again, sine law, we're trying to use it for non-right angled triangles. Let's do another equation together. Okay. So example 2, solve PQR. Okay. What you'll notice is this time you don't have two angles, so you have to look at what are you given in this situation. So first of all, I'm given 65 and 10, and they're asking me to solve for the angles and the side lengths. So this time, because the only other relationship I have is R and side R, if you notice that this time I'll be solving for an angle in this situation. So we would go sine P over little p is equal to sine R over little r. So this one's a little bit different when you go to solve it because you're going to be solving for an angle, and angles tend to be a little bit more complex in the algebra required. So we plug in the information. So sine 65 divided by 10 is equal to sine R divided by 11. Okay. Again, you're going to cross multiply here. So cross multiply. Okay. We get sine 65 times 11, okay, equals sine R, okay, times 10. Again, you're trying to isolate for R here, so we're going to first divide out the 10 to the other side, and that crosses out. Now what's going to happen is once we've divided the 10, I'm actually going to erase it to show you what happens here, is so we got rid of the 10, so that eliminated for us, okay? And now you're left with sine and R. And if you remember back to SOHCAHTOA, what happens when we move sine to the other side of the equation? It now becomes sine inverse 1, okay? And this is where it's going to get a little bit more complicated when you go to solve for it, okay? And that would eliminate the sine here, and you'd be left just with solving for angle R, okay? So when you do the math here, you're going to go sine inverse bracket, okay? And then inside the bracket, you're going to put all that information, okay? So it takes a little bit more work with the calculator, but it can all be done in one step. And you're going to be left with 86 degrees equals angle R. So solving for an angle using sine law just requires a little bit more calculations that are required, okay? So what we've done is now we've solved for angle R. We can easily solve for angle Q now because we know that a whole triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So we can subtract 65, and we can subtract 86, and we're left with 29 degrees. Okay. And now, with that information, we could do an angle-side relationship here to solve for side Q. Okay. So we could, I always tend to use the given information, so because we're always given sine P over P, I tend to kind of use those ones. Now you could use your new information if you want. You could use R and angle R if you want to, but I just like to keep it a little bit simpler, and then we go sine Q over little q. Okay. Again, you're going to plug in that information. Okay. Sine P, which is, so sine P is 65, okay, times Q equals, and I'm just doing the cross multiplication at the same time, okay, equals sine 29 times 10. So I've cross multiplied it at the same time after putting the values in. Divide sine 65 to both sides. Cross that out. Solve for Q. Q equals 5.3 meters in this situation. Okay. So those are two examples of how to solve for a full triangle. Okay. If you'd like to try the next word problem, you guys are more than welcome to. Okay. So you can try this one. I'll take it up in class on Tuesday, or actually Wednesday, when we're back from Wonderland. The homework for today, okay, is page 87, okay, numbers 1 to 3, alternate, okay, 5A, 6A, and 7. So today is the first day. You're going to get to work Sine Law again tomorrow. I have a worksheet for you guys to get extra practice on that. Okay? Have a great day, guys.